It is September 19th, 1981, and Art Garfunkel is singing in Central Park. He is singing the song Bridge Over Troubled Water, the opening track from the album of the same name. The song was written by Paul Simon, Garfunkel's musical partner for many years, and the album was the last released by the duo in 1970. Garfunkel is here, singing, and reunited with Simon, who, prior to their breakup at the start of the last decade, had been his inseparable friend and collaborator from the time they were two Jewish boys at a Queens grade school. The duo has brought with them an experienced 11-piece backing band of guitarists, drummers, keyboardists, and horn players. The concert is free to attend. It is a benefit curated by the Central Park Conservancy, an organization founded the year prior in a deliberate effort to stem the degradation of the park and maintain a safe, usable green space in the heart of Manhattan. The concert is a massive success, both for Central Park and for the group, with attendance far surpassing expectation and the recording of the performance selling millions of copies worldwide and receiving nearly universal critical acclaim. These details, however, are tangential to what is remarkable about this event. On this night, Art Garfunkel becomes transcendent. In Central Park, the song is opened by famed session pianist Richard T., whose chord substitutions, punctuated syncopations, and cool electric piano tone all deviate from the recorded version of the song, idiosyncrasies both simmering and shimmering with the magic of the night. The crowd is somewhat raucous and pleasantly agitated. The group on stage has just finished an up-tempo medley of Simon's Kodachrome paired with Chuck Berry's Maybelline, the latter a tribute to Simon and Garfunkel's early rock and roll influences. This was a full band number, with even Simon eschewing his trademark acoustic guitar for the flair and energy of an electric. Cameras show the audience members dancing and clapping their hands, captivated by the winsome irreverence and charming simplicity of the tunes. Bridge feels an odd song to follow such a galvanizing performance, and as the crowd's joyous kinetic energy transforms into buzzing chatter, hoots, and hollers amid T's keyboard intro, one can't help but wonder if the demure Garfunkel will be able to retain the attention of the audience. But he sings. The concert began in the pleasant late afternoon of the fading New York summer, the autumnal equinox, harbinger of winter, lurking just around the corner. But by this time, darkness has fully descended upon the park, enriching the scene with a nocturnal frisson of potential and possibility. Garfunkel's clear tenor embarks upon the night, blanketing the listeners with a soothing melodic balm, beginning to paint his idyllic scene upon the canvas of the night. And here, we first bear witness to the blossoming numinous nature of this song and this performance. As Garfunkel arrives at the first chorus, calmly and seamlessly transitioning from the verse, the broadcast shifts from a close-up shot of his face to a straight-angle full-body shot and slowly pulls away over the course of the refrain. At its full extent, the shot frames a distant, anonymous alchemist surrounded by his thrall. This lone, far-off figure, distinguished from the surrounding dark by spotlight, standing still, hands casually in the pockets of his blue jeans, undeterred, quietly confident, has transmuted the interstitial cacophony into golden silence, and enraptured tens or possibly hundreds of thousands of people in his unaffected transmission of the music. It is breathtaking to see. Like nearly all of Simon and Garfunkel's material, Bridge Over Troubled Water was written by Paul Simon. The composer is quite well read and literate. When songs aren't name-dropping Emily Dickinson and Robert Frost, or inspired by the poetry of Edward Arlington Robinson, they're bursting with metaphor and simile, lamenting the disappearance of the metonymic Joe DiMaggio or the malice of deified neon light. While Simon is a highly effective evocator of emotions in his music, his writing can have a formal distance at times. Bridge is not that way. Though certainly still marked by a songwriter's craftsmanship, it is far more direct and personal than much of Simon's output. This uncharacteristic candor and forwardness endow the song with both immediacy and intimacy. It feels like a conversation between two lovers, one consoling, the other being consoled. The lyrical brilliance of the song lies in the facility with which it allows us to act as surrogate for both its subject and object. At times we need to believe we are the singer, capable of providing comfort and encouragement to a loved one, possessed by equanimity and compassion, our soul and intellect governed by the better angels of our nature. Amongst the passions, Bridge rightly extols as most noble the ideal of agape love, the magnanimous act of willing self-sacrifice for the benefit of another. At other times, we are the song's devotee, broken, abased, and hopeless, yet soothed and succored by the sweet promises made in tender expression by a loved one. These promises are heartening, reinvigorating, imbued with the power to deliver us from the miry depths into which the circumstances of life can subdue us. Bridge contains a message just as beautiful to hear as it is to speak. Of course, none possess the constancy to fulfill this ideal, and as a necessary consequence, none are able to receive it. This is not a failure of agape, but rather an expected failure of the human ability to consistently manifest it. This works in the song's favor, however. As a prerequisite to his particular moment of transcendence, the song Garfunkel is singing must be of something other than this world. In Central Park, Garfunkel continues the song. In the close shots, we see his eyes searching, eyes slightly watered from the lighting, whose pale blue gentleness affirms the coolness and peace reflected in the song. Eyes that can't quite seem to settle, that seem to be earnestly searching for where to direct this affection, for who is most in need of its promise. He sings with unaffected honesty, a stark humility that, were we unable to see him with our own eyes, we would not believe could accompany such a performance. He appears as a vessel, willed to action not by his own accord, but by something sacred made incarnate in him. The wide, unself-conscious contortions of his mouth and writhing ambulations of his tongue framing and forming the syllables. It is a paragon of substance over style. Through the second chorus, T's keyboard and Garfunkel's voice have carried the song. At the start of the third verse, the remaining instruments ease their way in, blending into a crescendo to the final chorus. As the last refrain arrives, every element of the performance wields its telos with deterministic fervor as they meet and drive toward the song's climax. This is the moment. The song's expression of agape love, the pronounced liminality of the season, the ephemeral sweetness and stillness of the night, Garfunkel's incommensurate temperament, the clarity and expression of his timbre, the sincerity of T's communication in his playing, the alluring and nuanced contour of the melody, the communal experience of unnumbered thousands of people in one place, for one purpose, the collective energy of their restless thoughts and sentiments stilled and focused, all culminate in a moment of ecstatic gestalt. Even the staid Garfunkel appears overcome with emotion, tilting his head back and closing his eyes, subsumed by the song as he completes its final lyric. It is a moment of ineffable qualia made palpable as an objective truth. a moment of absolute beauty that offers a brief glimpse at a platonic ideal. It is a moment of transcendence. His role fulfilled, Garfunkel quickly and deliberately walks back from the microphone into the darkness. As he does so, we see the lingering effects of his action resonating within him as he pumps his left fist a few times with the pounding toms before finding himself, placing his hands behind his back and, from the shadow, bowing to the audience. These moments are significant and rare. They seem to require a confluence of both specific but unpredictable elements and actions, and perhaps it is for the best that they cannot be so easily manufactured or distilled. While this essay is an analysis of transcendence, I don't believe one can fully capture what happened that night, other than to say that on September 19th, 1981, there was magic when Artie sang in Central Park.